Yo, what is going on everybody? Guiding Light here, back with a brand new Fortnite video, and in this one, I'm going to be showing you guys how you can get a ton of easy wins here in Fortnite Season 10. So I've been having a ton of fun here on Fortnite over the past 2 days. The first day I spent doing a bunch of different challenges, which we got those out of the way pretty quickly. And ever since then, I've been going around to different parts of the map, seeing what's new here in Season 10, the different map locations, and overall, I've just been really trying to level up my character because I want to try to get to the higher tiers in the battle pass and unlock some of those higher level rewards. So in this video, I wanted to give you guys a bunch of tips and tricks on how it is that I've been winning my games here in Fortnite. I've gotten about 10 or 15 wins pretty easily so far this season, and it wasn't really all that hard. Just playing with some friends, and between solos, duos, and squads, I want to give you guys some tips and tricks that'll help you guys out in just about any game mode in order to help get some wins. So the first thing to know about Fortnite Season 10 and easy ways to get some wins is actually some of the new locations that you guys can land. Now, some of them are actually like brand new and they've never been in the game before. And then there's also a ton of new locations which are kind of hidden. You might not have even really noticed they were here just yet. And what's interesting is that the map on Fortnite is supposed to change pretty frequently. So what you see here this week might not necessarily what you guys see on the map next week. So every week, the way that the map rotates around, the way that the final circles end, is going to be a little bit different because of how different the map's going to be. So finding a solid landing position is a really good idea. So somewhere in the middle is always a pretty decent idea so that you don't have to spend half the game running across the map. Now that we're in Season 10, it's really kind of difficult to go across the map. Like if you land in Junk Junction and the final circle's all the way in Paradise, you're going to spend almost your entire match just running across the map because there's no more slipstreams, there's no way more like respawnable gliders. And so the only way to really get across the map is by using one of the drift boards, which only holds one person, or by using impulse grenades, which isn't really going to get you very far. Now, there's still rift spawns here in various locations, but they're just not as abundant as they were. And with no more slipstreams, it's actually a little bit difficult, and you can see yourself running across the map quite a bit here in this season. And it's actually quite easy to die in the storm as well, because you may even find yourself getting in a few fights. So picking a good landing position is a good idea to get yourself on track for a win. You're going to get yourself tons of loot and mats, and then all the meds that you guys get, you won't have to waste just trying to heal yourself after running out of the storm. So you'll actually be able to use your 50 pots and stuff like that to go into other fights. Now, a good spot here that I suggest is actually right here on the meteor. You can get tons of loot up here, and then because there's no fall damage, you can go to multiple different locations. If you get things like impulse grenades or launch pads while you're up there, you can get into just about any town. You can drop down on the unsuspecting enemies below because not too many people know that you can get up there right now. And on top of that, you can travel across the map quite far from that meteor and get to like 3 different name locations where you could easily get some kills and sneak up on people for their loot. Another good idea is if you're in duos or squads is to have one part of your team go to like a name location or a hot drop. Here you can start stacking up on loot for you and your team. You can get tons of mats, ammo. You can even get gold weapons out of the hot drop locations. And what you want to do is have one of your teammates actually go over to one of the robot spawns. There's different robots that will spawn in at the beginning of the game. There's robots that spawn in just after the battle bus like kind of goes off the map, so there's like a second wave of robots. And then I believe there's even a third wave of robots that spawn after like the first circle collapses. So whenever the robots do spawn, you can get them right off the beginning of the game. And it's a great idea because you can get in there and you can immediately go pick up your teammates. So you're going to see here, my friend went right for the robot, and me and my 3 teammates, we went to pressure plant so we could start getting loot and mats. Now, because my teammate got the robot, there's a ton of people chasing after him, and he was able to kind of bait them over to me, pick me up. I was able to hop in the gunner seat, and then we were able to rush over to those enemies and kill them. So this was a great way to start out our game. We had tons of XP from getting those kills, and we also were able to stack up on those mats. And because we already had the kills and we already had the robot, there wasn't too many other teams that wanted to fight against us because we could already see that we were already wreaking so much havoc on the map. So anytime people saw us, they would run away from us. So here's a little bit of a clip from later on in that match. You can see we made our way over to Mega Mall, and we actually destroyed all of Mega Mall because we noticed that the circle was going to be ending here. And so we decided, hey, we'll just destroy the entire mall with the robot. You can do so much destruction here with these robots that we destroyed the entire mall. And we made it so that no one had anywhere to hide. So while we were in these robots, it was super easy to kill all the last enemies because of the fact that we had all of the space completely wide open. Now, another crazy thing about these robots, and another thing to keep in mind is why you want to try to get one at the beginning of the game, is because you can actually use the robots to mine materials. As you can see there, as I'm crushing all of these things with the R2 button, those materials that I'm crushing and everything that I'm breaking through, it's going straight into my inventory. So if you have a teammate with you, you can get a ridiculous amount of materials just by destroying different objects. So what you want to do is actually go into buildings and stuff like that and try to actually crush out all of the buildings. And that's how you can get a bunch of mats like almost instantaneously. You can get up to max mats in less than a minute. On top of that, you can take these robots into the slipstreams. You can do so much ridiculous stuff with these robots. You'll find yourself destroying almost every lobby once you really get the hang of it, especially if you have the teamwork down in order to get one in like a duos match or squads. Let's say one of your teammates goes down and then you revive him. You can have him jump right in the robot with you, and you can get him to maximum materials in like 15-20 seconds by just destroying the objects around you. So it's really useful to have one of these robots on your team if you can help it. But even though the robots are really effective, there's this bunch of different ways that you guys can get wins without using the robots. So I want to try to help you guys out with that as well, because I know a lot of people aren't going to really want to use these robots. But you might notice that there are going to be robots that get used against you. So I want to try to give you guys some tips and tricks on how you can defend yourself against these robots, because they are extremely destructive, and even the best player can get to the end of the lobby and find themselves just getting destroyed by one of these robots because of how easy it is to take someone out. Like, you can take somebody out in like 1 or 2 seconds with this robot by just simply hitting them with the rocket or crushing down on them. So I want to try to give you guys some tips and tricks to actually help you guys win matches when you're against these robots, because I've noticed that in the ending circle, about 9 out of 10 games that I play, in the last circle, you have to go up against at least 1 robot, sometimes 2, even 3 robots if you're in like squads or duos. So I want to give you guys a couple tips and tricks on how to win games against these robots, because as you can see here, they are extremely destructive with the right driver and with the right teamwork, as we just mow through all of these enemies. So you're definitely going to find yourself going up against these robots either at the beginning of the match or sometime near the end of it. So the best way to go up against the robot, obviously, is to have one, but there's definitely a few different ways that you guys can get rid of the robots that you fight against pretty easily. So if you get into a robot, you can immediately hit the self-destruct button. So even if like one of the enemies ends up getting in the gunner seat and you just end up piloting the thing, it doesn't really matter. You can hit the self-destruct button and it will immediately disable the robot and make it explode. So if you don't want to go up against some of the robots, just get inside one of the robots, hit the self-destruct button, and then get out, and you won't have to deal with the robot, and then no one else in the lobby can pick it up either. So you can go around from the robots to robot, self-destruct them, and then you won't have to fight them. On top of that, because there's no more gliders and stuff like that, in order to win matches in this game, it's really effective to have impulse grenades, and it's also a really good idea to try to go out of your way to get supply drops so that you can get launch pads for late game, because they are extremely effective when you don't have those gliders. But if you end up seeing these robots spawn in late game, because as I said before, they do stand to spawn in late game. There's actually a duo match right here where me and my friend were just wandering through the map. We had gotten out of a circle, and lo and behold, a robot did spawn right in front of us. Now, because we're pretty confident in the way that we drive, and me and my friend just have a ton of fun in these robots, destroying everything, we decided to take it out and win the match with it. But like I said, you can hit the self-destruct button as you see there on the left, and that will completely disable the robot so that no one can use it. On top of that, you can kind of use it as like a ticking time bomb, using it to destroy enemies' bases and stuff like that, if you'd like to use the self-destroy function like that as well. So that's something pretty awesome about these robots. You can get in one, use it to collect some mats really quick, and then just blow it up so no one else can have it. Now let's say you get into late game and everybody else is in robots and you don't really know what to do. Well, there's really only one way to fight against these robots, and that is to destroy them as fast as possible. Now, keep in mind, these robots, they only have 1,000 health, and as of right now, I haven't found any ways where you can actually like get these things repaired. But what's really good about the fact that they only have 1,000 health is that with the right teamwork, you can easily melt one of these things' health down. Whether you have one teammate or you have 2 or 3 teammates because you're in squads, it's actually pretty easy to destroy these things. You just cannot be afraid of them. As soon as you like start running away from them or try to like box yourself up like these guys are here, you'll notice that you can't really defend yourself against these robots, because one little burst from the rocket launcher or one slam down like this, and you're going to find yourself just completely demolished. So the best way to go up against these robots is to definitely get yourself somewhere where you can start spraying damage into them. And once you hear the rocket launcher start to charge up, you want to build as much as possible and then just kind of run away from your build. If you build a couple walls or like a box really quickly and then you get behind it and run away a little bit from the box, you'll notice that a lot of the rockets, they end up hitting the box and they won't really do damage to you. So that's something to keep in mind. And what this will allow you to do is actually get into a position where you and your teammates can do as much damage to the robot as possible, because it only has about 1,000 health. So if you end up hitting it with the 50 cal, you can easily take it out with 1 or 2 shots from each teammate. And on top of that, you can actually aim for the person that's driving the robot. So if you end up seeing those blue hit markers pop up, that means that you're actually hitting the driver up top. So you can easily knock the driver out of the driver's seat, and then the person that's using the guns would have to switch over to the other seat in order to get out of there as well. So even if you're only doing 3 or 4 shots at a time, do as much as you can, and as soon as you think that the robot's going to attack you, you need to get behind a wall and get behind some cover so that you don't get tagged. But just go back at it 4 or 5 times, and you'll notice that the robot goes down pretty easily, and you'll end up hearing that self-destruct go off. So as soon as the self-destruct goes off, you do want to try to get away from it a little bit, because it can damage you, but it can also damage the person that was driving it and the team that gets out. So be on the lookout in case they do get tagged, so that you can clean up those kills super easily while they're off guard. Also, be sure to try to hold on to chug splashes, because they've actually made a little bit of an adjustment to them, and you can heal yourself way faster with the chug splashes, almost twice as fast. So if you're a little bit weak and you find yourself in a box fight, using chug splashes to heal is an extremely effective way to get back up to 100 health, edit out your wall, and then catch the guy while he's a little bit off guard, because they won't realize just how much you've healed up. So with all these tips and tricks, and with the new robots and how destructive they are, I really hope that these tips and tricks help you guys to come out with some wins, come out on top of your matches, and help you guys level up a little bit quicker here in Season 10. So that's pretty much it for me in this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Be sure to drop a like down below if this video helped you guys out, and I'll catch you guys in the next Fortnite video. Peace.